Okay, this is the legendary Jim Aldridge with the Sonny Burgess and the legendary Pacers band. Since Sonny passed, they've become the Pacers. He plays saxophone and a harmonica
Flute,
and flute. I've never heard you play
trombone.
flute. I've never heard that. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, this year of 2018, I celebrate 13,000 paid performances.
Wow. Wow.
That's about 3 careers for most people.
And how old were you when you started?
5.
5.
Stuttgart, Arkansas. I had a musical family that was German, and sitting in my grandmother's lap, she would sing to me and play harmonica, teach me to play harmonica, and she would sing. The first song I ever heard with sitting in her lap was "Meet me in St. Louis, Louis, meet me at the fair." That's what the first song she taught me. So, understanding that back during those years there was no such thing as a television, there was no such thing as telephones hadn't been around very long, and the families entertained themselves.
Right.
And so, anyway, and when I was 9, I marched in the summer band in Jacksonville, Arkansas on the July the 4th, 1942. 1942. The reason I can remember it, because that was July the 4th, and we played in Jacksonville at the high school, and in the summer parade there, people followed us right into the. I get a little memory loss. I don't mind telling my age because I'm 80 now, and but anyway, so that we followed us into the city auditorium, and everybody was still standing, and the little summer band I was in and a part of, he had everybody. He said, "Please remain standing, Mr. Don Martin. Please remain standing. I have a treat for you." The Aldridge brothers. My oldest brother played cornet. My next brother played clarinet, and I played at that time trombone. And my poor little short arms wouldn't reach out there past the barrel, but I would play fake positions that I could play it. So we're sitting there on stage and playing the national anthem, and everybody's still standing, right? And so my 2 brothers got lost and went and sat down. And I kept playing because I had a good enough ear that I could play it as well, because I had read it on music one time. So then got a standing ovation, my first standing ovation. That's probably only because everybody was already standing.
Okay, you said you played for 3 presidents?
Yes. The first president I played for, I had a hit record in Houston, Texas, and so how do we do it? Okay, at Schofield, that's an air terminal in Galveston Bay. That's where we were playing at, and had 120,000 people, and
And who was the
Thunderbirds flying
president?
by. Okay,
Oh,
and so that night, it is important that was the coming down time for the astronauts that walked on the moon, and so to honor them.
so
Well,
that's
President Nixon,
1968?
President Nixon came. That was 60.
8?
No, no, no. That might be right. Don't hold me to it. Well, anyway, so President Nixon came there to honor the astronauts. I got to meet them, and it was a very large, high-class deal, what have you. And it was okay for a guy like me that had a hit record going at that time. So, what happens is, so that was Nixon and the astronauts. And then a little later,
So
many,
give us-
many, many times in my audience, I would see Bill and Hillary Clinton.
Oh,
And I've offered for Bill to sit in with me, and I'd hold my horn up. I'd say, "Hey, Bill." He'd say, "Get out of town." He wouldn't sit in behind me. And then my favorite president of all to make 3 presidents that I performed for was Ronald Reagan,
Ronald Reagan. Oh, wow.
a great president.
So give us a little synopsis of your whole career.
Play music and entertain. I played a lot of convention hotels.
Oh, I like the story that you told about the nun that came.
Wait a minute, say that
The
again?
story that you told me about the nun.
Oh my goodness, I shouldn't tell that.
Tell it.
Okay, I was playing the Little Rock Hilton. I had the type of show band there that you would see in Las Vegas. And I'll tell you another story after I tell you this. I had regular customers that stayed there because they wanted to say where the action was in Little Rock. And wherever my band was performing in my shows, that's where they came because we had such a great show. And there we had people that became friends to me. People like Robert Goulet and his wife Vera from Venezuela. And let me see. Then on beyond that, Charlie Sheen came in, stayed about a week while he was shooting a movie in Little Rock. And he drugged me around the university, the Hilton. And he drugged me all over that place. Come on, Jim, I'm going to get you and me drunk. He said, because it's my birthday. And so he commenced, and I'm telling you, he did a good job on me. But he and I remained friends, and he really is one of our best known performers
Wow.
for a long, long, long time on so many things. Okay, and then other good friends like Huey Lewis of the News. Huey Lewis said, he said, I've been promoting all records across America for several years. He said, he's got the best lounge show I've seen in America.
And you were doing a lot of Elvis back then, too,
Yes, I
right?
did. I was a cross on stage between Elvis and Tom Jones. That's what I did because there was more action and more showmanship required to do that. And we're going to get to the nun story in a moment. Okay, and then people like Wayne Newton. Wayne Newton wanted me to be his guest in Pine Bluff at the convention center because Wayne. So I was out there in the audience, and Wayne Newton plays about 4 songs. And he stops. He said, out there, I want to take a minute to say something about a gentleman I have met. He said, I want you Arkansas people to know how lucky you are to have your own version of Wayne Newton right here in Arkansas. And his name is Jim Aldrich. He's sitting right there. And there I was, and I sat up. Everybody knew me anyway, and everybody started applauding. It made me feel really good. But anyway, and so there are so many entertainers like that have commended me, etc. Now, as for the young lady sitting across the table from me, a story kind of goes with that is very good. It was a very personal story to me. My father was in the hospital at St. Vincent's. And back then they did not have things that could save a man that had a serious heart condition. And so I went in the lobby of the hospital, and I saw a nun there in the front lobby. She was wearing her habit, they call it. And so anyway, I went over there and found at the desk, information desk, where my father's room was. I went to visit. And so one night at the Hilton, back at the Hilton, I'm doing a show. I always went out, took my microphone out, and found somebody to pick on, so I can make their night special. And so I looked over there, and I could see a bunch of ladies against the wall, kind of even with the basket of tobacco. And so I went over there, and I'm singing, and I'm doing I'm doing a little takeoff on Tom Jones. And I noticed a lady in the middle of the other ladies, sitting there. And anyway, she's sitting there, and so I thought, well, I'm going to embarrass her a little bit. Don't know who she is. Didn't matter. I jumped right in straddle her in her lap. And I'm sitting there about 6 inches from her nose. And I'm sitting there and I'm singing this song by Tom Jones. What's new, pussycat? Whoa, 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 whoa. What's new, pussycat? And she started doing, you know. And so she seemed to be more embarrassed than normal. And so when I finished my show, I went back up to the stage. When I finished my show, I went back over to this lady, and I shook her hand, and I said, ma'am, I'm so sorry if I embarrassed you in any way. I said it was unintentional, but I just picked you. I always pick on somebody, and tonight it was your turn. She said, oh, that's all right. She said, you know me, but you don't know that you know me.
Oh, no.
She said, I'm Sister Victoria from St. Vincent's Hospital. You know, and now I'm embarrassed. And she said, I made a promise to your father. You've seen me before in the lobby of the hospital, but I made a promise to your father that I would come and see you perform. And I'm here fulfilling that promise to your father.
Well. Oh, gosh.
But anyway, with that in mind, that was one of those type of stories. I was
That's
always
great.
jumping in somebody's lap. You know, that was part of my show. And so, anyway, what was, there was something else.
And how long have you been with the Pacers?
I joined the Pacers when I came back from Hollywood. I did sessions by day. I did a session with Glenn Campbell and the guy doing the production. He said, hey, did you say you were from Arkansas? I said, yeah. He said, did you know that blonde-headed guy that walked out there carried a guitar? I said, I don't know. What was his name? He said, Glenn Campbell, I think. I said, never heard of him. Which I hadn't at that time. But he was doing the same thing I was, doing sessions by day and playing in clubs by night.
And what were you doing in Hollywood?
I wanted to go after I got my first divorce. I went there to see what kind of music they played in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And I met a lot of stars and things like that. But let me just say this to cut things a little short. I came back from Hollywood and everybody, is that on the New England Highway, there was a club called the Top Hat and one called the Club 70. And I took my horn and went to Club 70 and what have you. And I was welcomed, and we emptied out the club next door. We emptied it out. So then this band came in. They're all wearing black suits. And they said, come over here, we want to talk with you. Well, it was Bobby and Kern and Bobby and Kern and Johnny Ray Hubbard. He played bass back then. Elvis loved him dearly.
Yeah.
And so they came in there and they said, who are you? What's your name? I said, my name is Jim Aldridge. I'm from right here in the Rose City area. And they said, we need you working in our band, not working against us. He said, we want you to join, we're the Pacers. I said, who?